What's up guys, and welcome back to another Honkai Star Rail guide. Today I'm here with what you should be farming with the Planar Fissure double drop rate event, taking you over each world and what I do recommend farming ornament wise, and whether if I recommend them or if it's something you should avoid. And this indeed covers every single world, so every single ornament available to farm. This event already is out on Asia and Europe servers for a few hours now, but as you are watching this video, it did just release on NA servers. With that being said, let's get straight into the video. Starting it off with the first one being Space Sailing Station and also Fleet of the Ageless. This is not a world I recommend, as Space Sailing Station is never going to be the best for a DPS, and Ageless has practically seen not much play anymore as there is just better supportive sets. They still do work as a good fallback option, but only really if you do have pieces from being a long-term player, so when this was good to farm, you have good pieces back then, same thing with Space Sailing Station, but overall no longer recommended as they have aged out. Next one is Talia and also Vonwacq. Both of these sets are situationally good, especially Vonwacq. This helps you get really good setups, such as having a certain character go first before everyone else in battle, which is not only good for just people wanting to zero cycle, it's also great for having your debuffers set up quick, such as someone like Xiaochu. If you have a very high speed team setup, the person with Vonwacq is usually going to be the one outspeeding them, which is usually going to be on your supports and such. While on the flip side, we do have Talia. This is only really good on 2 to 3 characters, mainly Buto, Rappa, and also someone like Shui. Technically, Forge set does outperform them if you do have the conditions, but this one is a lot less restrictive. So if you are using one of those 3 characters and you do have supportive characters that would benefit from going first with Vonwacq, this becomes good, but if you're missing one or the other, I would not recommend it, as it is better to just use Relic Remains. Next up, we do have Pan-Cosmic and also Celestial Differentiator. I do not recommend this world whatsoever because Pan-Cosmic is usually not going to be a set you use anymore. Dock characters already have a better set with the brand new one. Effect hit rate characters already usually use something else as well. So Pan-Cosmic has practically lost almost all its value, and on the flip side, we have the worst relic set in the game. Not just relic set ornament wise, it's just the worst ornament out of everything. It's also the worst relic set you can just get entirely. You can have a godlike set of this and you still won't use it because this set is horrible, which is why I do not recommend this one whatsoever. Next up, we do have Belobog and also Salsotto. I no longer recommend this at all either, just because Belobog is only really used on someone like Japard, and also Fire Trailblazer, where you've never really used Fire Trailblazer anymore either. Salsotto is still pretty good. It's the second best option for follow-up characters, and it still can be good for characters like Saber who have their main damage from ultimate, but usually there's always a option that's better to farm, or slightly better, or a better world where the value of farming 2 different ornaments is going to be better than this, just because this would just be Salsotto, and for a set that's not really the best or is always very slightly better, it is just not worth farming this anymore, hence why I do not recommend it. Next up, we do have Rutilant Arena and Broken Keel. This is still very much recommended by me personally because Rutilant Arena is usually always going to be the best for anyone that does do basic attack or skill damage, so the ones that do utilize this well. It's also going to be the best in slot for the character Archer, which people are going to be looking to build. Rutilant Arena is indeed his best in slot, so this set does become a lot more valuable for people that do want to build him. But a lot of characters that do their damage off basic attack and skill, such as Io Dahaneng or skill-wise Anaxa, they all still very much do love this set, and the requirement nowadays getting up to 70% or higher crit rate should not be an issue, as you usually always want to be close to 100% as possible in battle. So an easy requirement with a nice increase to damage for basic attack and skill is usually why it's the best for those characters. On the flip side, we do have Broken Keel, which is more outdated nowadays. Usually you want to have one with energy regen rate for your supports, but Broken Keel is still overall a set that you can still use, and a majority of the game still does love having crits, so the requirement here is really easy, as it just requires 30% effect res to give everyone, including the wearer, 10% crit damage. Not much, but it's still just a nice little supportive bonus you can give, especially if a character doesn't have too much crit damage. This can also slightly amplify the crit damage buffs from characters that do buff crit damage based off their own, such as Sunday, Bronya, RMC, and so on. It's not by much, it's not going to be like an insane amount, but it's just a bit of extra you can squeeze out on them. But as I mentioned, it is a bit more outdated nowadays, but overall it's still a good set to farm, which makes this one of the more recommended worlds because it has 2 relatively valuable sets. Next up is Glamoth and also Penacony. Glamoth is usually the best for anyone that can actually utilize the effect. 12% attack and also giving 12% to 18% more damage. If you're able to get to 160 plus speed, for a DPS that isn't really like a break character, then this becomes usually their best in slot. It's also great for the dock character specifically, so dock characters can actually benefit from this as well. So just practically anyone that can hit the speed thresholds and also do benefit from the attack percent plus the damage. Even at 135, it does become a really strong option to use on those characters. And on the flip side, we do have Penacony, which this set is a lot more niche as a supportive set. But there are cases you can definitely use, like you can put it on your Bronya when you are pairing her with someone like Blade or Facial or Anoxa. You can put it on your Sparkle when you're pairing her with Archer. You can also stack this set, so if you're running a Mono Quantum team, especially with the new character Archer, you can put this on multiple characters and you're giving everyone a damage increase. So if you're running someone like Chibi, Silverwolf, or Cypher on the team, which a lot of people will do, they also will be getting the benefit from this, so not only getting the energy regen rate, but also the up to 30% damage you would be getting on that team as you're running 3 supportive sets on 3 characters. So the best part is it actually does stack, so this can benefit your sub DPSs. So if you are doing a decent amount of those setups, then this actually becomes a very valuable one overall to farm. But if you're not doing any mono setups or anyone that really has the same element, then you're better off just using Relic Remains to craft Glamoth, since Penacony would be overall useless for you. Next up, we have the Desolation set and also Izumo. The Desolation set isn't really something you use outside of Pure Fiction. It is usable, yes, and you can get a decent amount of crit damage out of it even on the outside modes, depending on what it is, or what boss it is especially. But usually it's never going to be the best in slot for anyone, and even in Pure Fiction, usually it's never their best in slot either. Since other sets are more universal, and this one might have a slight 1 to 2% difference in total damage when it comes to overall damage output, so that's why farming this isn't really generally recommended. On the flip side, we do have Izumo, which is still a popular set, especially on someone like the Herda, where you always run another Erudition, or if you run someone like Akron, you put it on her because you always run another Nihility. You can also put this on the actual characters as well. Fei Xiao is often paired with another Hunt character, usually in the form of someone like Topaz or Hunt March 7th or Mose, so she can technically use it as well. But if you already have a good amount of crit rate, yes, it does give some attack percent, but you're mainly using it for the extra crit rates, so if you already have a good amount of crit rate in battle, then you don't really have a need for it. It's only really there for a crit rate cope, and if you need extra crit rate and you just have really good pieces that don't have too much crit rate. So if this set does help you get those characters to a good crit ratio, then it is pretty usable. Otherwise, there is going to be a better damaging set, always. So if you want Izumo, I recommend just using Relic Remains or avoiding this one entirely. Next up is Duran and also the Forge set. Duran is the best in slot for any follow-up team that can stack it quick enough. So any counter unit, the Facial follow-up team, Ratio Hybrid Carry, those kind of teams will all benefit from this, as it gives up to a 25% increase to follow-up attack damage and also 25% crit damage when you have full stacks. Usually is going to be the one that outperforms any other set on those follow-up characters. And on the flip side, we do have the best tactical break set. This is great to run on Firefly, Himiko specifically. You can use it on Linksha as a DPS or not. You can run it on Gallagher, especially for the speed. And if you have someone like Buto or you're using someone like Rappa, if you take them into a battle that does have fire weakness, you can actually still reap the 40% increase to break effect, which technically is the reason why it is the best overall break set you can use. But when it comes to those characters, you generally use Talia since it's easier to use, but someone, again, Firefly will always implant fire weakness. And if you're running someone like Linksha or Gallagher alongside Firefly, you'll implant that weakness from Firefly, so they can always get the bonus as well. And again, the speed bonus is very nice, especially on characters like Linksha or Gallagher. Even if you want to not speed gen, it's still going to be nice there. So if you do have those characters, Forge becomes great. So if you do have the break characters benefiting from this and you do have follow-up characters, this is very, very recommended. If you have one of the others, then it becomes Relic Remain territory. So that's how you would farm it. Next up, we have Lushaka and Bananamusement. Lushaka has seemed to become practically the most popular actual supportive set you can give to your characters. 5% increase to energy regen rate and also 12% attack to the character position first in team lineup. The attack percent buff, as long as the character that is being buffed can benefit from it, is gonna get a great increase in this, and plus the energy regen rate is nice for the support themselves. And on the flip side, we have the best in slot for Aglia and Jingwan, really. I know someone like Topaz can use it, but it's not better than Duran. You can also technically put it on Linksha, but it's not that good on her, even as a crit Linksha. So if you do actually have Jingwan and Aglia, then this becomes good because literally any account can benefit from Lushaka overall. So Lushaka is always going to seem good priority, but if you don't use Jingwan or Aglia, then I'd recommend just using Relic Remains on Lushaka. Next up is the Bone set and also the Giant Tree set. So the Bone set is the best in slot for any HP scaling DPS plus Tribi. Best in slot for Blade, Mide, Castris. Insanely good on Tribi as well. Usually always will be running this because you want to optimize their damage. Very easy requirement for those guys too, especially because you are getting 12% max HP at the same time. And all those characters are very easy to achieve 5k max HP or higher. And it gives you a free 28% increase to crit damage. So overall, the best in slot for any of those HP scalers. And on the flip side, we do have the best in slot for high specifically, but it also does increase speed, and if you're able to hit the speed thresholds, especially the 180 plus, it is the best in slot for anyone that wants to have their pure healing increased. So it's great on Luocha, Gallagher, even Linksha, and so on. So if you do have healers that would benefit from the healing increase, which again is practically anyone that could hit the higher thresholds, then this is valuable, and you're also using HP scalers, then this whole world is very, very strong. And very, very recommended by me because, again, this is the best in slot for any HP scaler, and this is the best in slot for any healer, technically. So, usually most people will have a form of both, so this is recommended. But again, if you have one or the other, then Relic Remains will be your best friend. And last off, we do have a bit of a more niche world right now. This set right here, the Woven Dreams, is only really used by Finon. While on the flip side, we have this, which is practically going to be the one you do use on any dock character that isn't Kafka. Since Kafka with the buffs is built more supportive now, so you honestly give her like a supportive set instead. So yeah, I only recommend farming this if you are going to be a dot player, you're going to make use of the dot buffs, you're going to pull High Celine specifically. Then you want to get this set for her, you want to get it for your other dot characters that aren't Kafka. And you're also a Finon user because, again, Finon's the only one making use of this set as of now. If you are in the case where you do use Finon and you also want to get into dot, or you already have dot characters and you're waiting for the buffs with High Celine and stuff, then you can go ahead and farm this, or again, Relic Remains will be your best friend. And that does wrap up the full farm guide. The general idea is to farm one that has 2 different ornaments that you do want. For example, right now, I really need to get my Aglia on a better set with Bananamusement, and I honestly don't mind to give my Jingwan a actual ornament, so that is going to be good, and I also need to get better Lushaka pieces, so I'm going to use all my drops on the actual Lushaka and Bananamusement. But let's say you're someone that mains Castro / Mide, and you do have high speed and you have a high speed Luocha or whatever, then you would probably pick something like this, which has the Bone Set and also Giant Tree. Or if you're someone that mains the follow-up team and still use break characters like Firefly, then you would go ahead and do Eternal Comedy with the Duran set and Forge set. Again, just capitalize the one that does have 2 different ornaments that would benefit you. I hope you guys did find this video helpful. If you did, dropping a like would be greatly, greatly appreciated. If you're new to the channel or haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe and tell the bell icon for future videos like this, along with all the types of Star content, and I'll see you later. Peace out.